Hi Flosstube, well welcome back to the chaos. I'm Tanya and this is my Flosstube channel where I just like to talk about all my cross stitch whenever I get the time. So from my last video was my end of year whip parade. I said I would be doing a planning video in the middle of January. That did not happen and it was not my fault this time. I swear. This time my computer, 2 days before I was going to go on my 2-week trip to Cuba, gave me the blue screen of death. Everything was gone. The video was recorded. I had it edited. I was literally in the middle of downloading it and computer gone. So obviously it was 2 days before Cuba. I wasn't going to get that done. So I did order a new computer and when I got back it is now ready to go. But me, I hate doing the same thing twice, so I decided to just wait till I was going to do my January Flosstube update and tack on my plans video at the end. So luckily this month I also did not do much stitching. So my Flosstube video portion will be very short, and then at the end I'll have my Maisie's down here. She wants attention. At the end of the Flosstube portion will be my plans video. So I mean, watch that, don't watch that, up to you. So let's get right into it. Alright, so like I briefly mentioned, I didn't do too much stitching in January. I had a 2-week trip to Cuba where I did do some stitching, but I really wasn't strict. I didn't bring a lot of stitches with me. I was really tired, so I've kind of really stitched on and off. And I've kind of lost a bit of my sojo, so January is a bit of a slow month, but I still did work a little bit on my pieces. So let's just start with January's WhipGo pieces. Now, when you watch my planning video after this, I'll talk a bit about how I'm doing my WhipGo tracking this year. So just briefly, just going to say WhipGo, I'm doing on Mondays and Wednesdays. I'm not doing a set number of days. It's just I work on WhipGo Monday and Wednesday. And if shit happens and I'm busy, like my trip to Cuba, then I don't do WhipGo. I'm not going to call it a fail or anything. It's just, it's out, it's to be worked on. So anyways, so first WhipGo piece this month was the I'm This Old piece. Now I just got to find it in my book. Here's my book. Alrighty, so this is the I Am This Old. Here, I'll just hold it up real quick. So that's the final piece, and that's all my updates on it. So I worked on it 2 days in January, 1 day for 380 stitches, and 1 day for 122 stitches. So I mean, again, because of my trip to Cuba, I missed 2 days. I would have had 4 days worked on it, but yeah, this one's really cute, and it'll be I could technically just, if I wanted to, like, just spend like 3 or 4 days on this and probably like whip this one out, but you know, I've probably got several that are like that. But anyway, so that was WhipGo piece number 1 for the month, and WhipGo piece number 2 for the month was Red Riding Hood by the Witchy Stitcher. Now let me just find it here. There we go. So this is Red Riding Hood, and there's all my stats on there. So I worked this one 3 days over the month of January. I did bring this one to Cuba because I figured that, you know, I'm going to be tired. I might only want to do some like really easy stitching. So I just worked on some of this black here because I don't really have to pay attention. So that's what I like about this piece here is if I'm, you know, in the mood to watch a movie or something, I can just grab this and just fill in black and I know what it is. But yeah. So there's that one for WhipGo. Next is my temperature piece. This is this year's temperature piece, and I have failed miserably on this one. So let me just grab it, pull it up on my booklet here. So this is the stained glass window Wednesday. Ours on Arika. I got it on Etsy. And I forgot to write it down, but I did work on it in January. 1 day I did. So I got enough to work on the month here. I thought I'll do 20 stitches, one leg in the high temperature and 1 leg in the lowest temperature, but it's looking pretty muddy to me, so I gotta take this out and then redo it and just do it one color, like the high temperature for the day. Yeah, but like I said, my sojo's kind of been gone. I just haven't had motivation much to do this, so I gotta get on that. There's a lot to do, and again, in my plans, you'll see I had all these plans for January, and I did fuck all of them. So there's that one. Next, now this one wasn't originally in my, like, plans to work on, but I liked this one for working on a cube on my trip. So here it is. This is the Arctic Fox by NeedleLotDesigns. And I forgot to write down my stats for that. It's on my phone, and I'm recording with my phone. But I did work on it a couple times in January, and I just worked on a lot of this white here, these snowflakes, and filling in, and I started this moon down here. And I think I worked on this 3 or 4 times while I was in Cuba. It's just NeedleLotDesigns. They're just really easy patterns to stitch, so that's why I picked to take this one with me to Cuba. Yeah, so I got quite a bit done on that one, and this one's going to go back in the work on later pile. Alright, next is for my Make It Murder Sal, and again, you'll see my plans. I want to have this done in January, and it is now February as of recording this video. So just this. And as you can see, I did some color changes already. You'll notice her sweater's blue, and I'm doing her hair dark brown. I don't think this is going to get done for the Make It Murder Sal, but I'm still going to finish it. Obviously, I'm going to make it another, like a focus piece again for February. I did originally want to just finish the girl completely and then do the cats, but I might at least do one cat the way I want it, so that at least when I send a picture to Cross Stitch the Globe, it'll kind of get the idea across what I was planning on doing with the piece. But there's that. So next is my Sal. So this is the Secret Grove Sal by NeedleLotDesigns. So I'll show you the picture. This is only a picture of part 1 so far, and there's all my stats on that. So yeah, I worked on it, I guess, one day in January. I'm only on part 2 now, so this is the start of part 2. And this one's staying out in my Finish Fridays, or my Focus Friday piece, because I really love NeedleLotDesigns. Like I said, it's just, their patterns are really smooth and detailed, but not like, I hate confetti, so she's good for not having all those ninja stitches. Next. Alright, so now we are on to this month's Whip Go. I forgot to mark this one. Let me pull up the page. Okay, so for this one, I can't remember the numbers, but the numbers pulled up was for Luna Moth, and I haven't even started this one yet. So that's gonna work on that one on Wednesday. And this is my pin there. So this is what it's gonna look like. I chose to do a darker gray fabric. I didn't want to do work on black because I love my grids. That's the only reason. I love my grids. So I'll be curious to see how much I get done on this at the end of the month. And then last but not least is my Harry Potter library girl. And here's that. Alrighty, so yeah. This is 10 stitch, 3/1, so we'll see how far we get on that one. That's for Whip Go for the month of February. Alright. Alright, everybody, so thanks for watching my January update video. Again, after this is going to be my plans video. Just like if I recorded it 2 weeks, I'm not editing out anything I said that would make it another date. Whatever. Anyways, thanks for watching. Bye. And this is going to be season 2, and this is going to be the first Flosstube Extra Year of Plans edition. So I'm going to talk a little bit about me first. If you aren't interested in that, feel free to go ahead and skip ahead to the stitchy stuff. And in the stitchy part, I'm going to talk about my plans for the year, including Whip Go, some finishes, and a bunch more. So let's just get right into it. So first off, again, my name is Tanya, spelled with an I, not a Y. I'm not really one to talk about my personal life too much. I'm just like to stick to the cross stitch stuff. but I thought I should at least cover the basics with you guys, being the beginning of the year and all that. So I'm 34 and I'm a Sagittarius. My day job, I work as a library tech for school libraries, which keeps me pretty busy. I've been in libraries since I was 16 years old, so it's kind of my life calling. But I have done my stint in retail for a short year, so you know, I've had my time in retail hell. I appreciate you guys. I also have a lot of other hobbies besides cross-stitching. I also do a lot of like DIY stuff. Mainly, my other main hobby is sewing, specifically like bags and purses and wallets. And I use a lot of like fandom fabrics. So, you know, all the movies, TV shows, animes, love them. I will link, I do sell on Etsy. I'll put a link down below to my website, but I'm awful at taking pictures, so I don't really keep that as up to date as I would like. I also like to, you know, cook, bake, do DIY my own soap. I like video games like RPGs, Final Fantasy. You know, can't go wrong with Mario or Pokemon either. And yeah, that's just a bit about my hobbies. I also love to read. I mean, I'm a librarian, so of course I like to read. But most days I do mostly just listen to audiobooks. It's just easier for me. I find I'm a little obsessive if I'm reading a book, like a physical book. I don't want to stop. So I mean, 6 to 8 hours to finish a book, and I do nothing else. It can be a little problematic. So the audiobooks, I'm a bit better at pausing and, you know, spreading that out a little bit. My genre for my books is mostly like fantasy, romantasy, but, you know, I like other stuff too occasionally. I also do watch the occasional TV and movies, so I tend to get a bit into like phases. So right now I'm kind of in a phase where I don't want to watch much TV or movies, but when I am in the mood, you know, I like the fantasy, supernatural. I like some animes. But yeah, I don't keep track, you know, with whatever's popular. So just whatever looks good, I'll watch. I also started stitching because of YouTube. I like to watch a lot of like DIY stuff on YouTube, just throughout the day to keep me entertained. And just one day, Teresa Little Stitchers popped up in my feed. I'm like, I watched that, and I'm like, I'll give that a try. Cross stitching looked fun, and yeah, it kind of just snowballed from there, and now I have like double-digit whips. So that's it. That's enough about me. So I thought I'd start off my plans video with just a couple of FFOs from throughout the year. I didn't keep too well track last year of what I finished and what I didn't finish, but yeah. So I know at least one of these you haven't seen yet. I'll do that one last. So this is, let me bring it up on my tablet. So this is Potions and Pages, and this was a free pattern from Haunted Frames. And I started this January 2024, and I finished it July 2024. So yeah, I just really finished that one. And this is like my second like hoop finish, and there's like scotch tape, and yeah, not very well done back here. I might redo this one now that I have it out, but yeah, that's that one. My next one I framed in just a frame from Michael's that I painted myself black. And this is the Book of Warrior Queen. And this one is also by Haunted Frames. I do someday plan on doing all of her like book patterns, but she makes them faster than I can stitch, so that'll be never ending. Next is one you haven't seen yet. And these are the dinos from Alex and Embroidery on Etsy. Now this was like 100 stitches. It went by really fast to complete. I did buy a set of 3. So I don't know if you can see this on my tablet. So eventually I'll do the other 2, but yeah, I just did this one. It was just a really fast stitch. Super easy. It was super cute. Alright, so the rest of my plans. I gotta bring up my notes here. Okay, so those are my FFOs, mostly for this year. So plans, 2025 is the year of 25 whips. So technically I have 30 whips, but they don't all count towards my 25 whips. And here's why. So I'm not including my last year's or this year's temperature style or my travel whip. And I'm also going to start a book tracker. Doesn't count. So yeah, although I technically have 25 whips, it's just a technicality. The 25 whips is for my whip go board, which we'll talk about in a minute. So my first goal for 2025 is I want to like really get some finishes this year. I'm going to pick a goal of 5 finishes or 5 whips to have FFO'd by the end of 2025. Having too many whips has definitely been too overwhelming for me. I feel like I haven't made any progress on any one project because I'm only doing a little bit on so many whips. So it's spread out way too much. And I'm just someone who I like to see rapid progress on a whip, or I just get really bored easily, which is probably why I don't do a lot of full coverage pieces, because it's that takes a lot of work and a lot of time to see any like progress out of it. So that's why I probably tend to gravitate towards more like small medium projects, because you can really see a lot of progress very quickly. So this year I'm also so I'm going to try to limit my new starts to like to finish one new start, like kind of a la crafty gaming Jamie, just to try to whip down a bit. So the whips that I want to kind of focus on this year, our first one is my Make It's Murder Sal. And the sal is over at the end of January, so I really want to get this one done. A bit of a little hiccup in that, though, is I'm going away to Cuba for 2 weeks, and I don't really want to bring this one with me because it's going to take, I'm going to need to have my DMC collection to be able to just randomly go in to pick colors as I go. So I'm going to have to, like, pick a week to just, like, really focus on that one and pump that out. But I'm going to get that one done by January 31st. I hope I keep that goal. My second one I want to finish is Books Are Magic by Puddle Jumpers. And it's just because I really love that piece. It's just a really beautiful piece to me, so I want to get it like really done. I want to get it FFO just to see it. My third piece I want to FFO is my Harry Potter Magic Girl. It's one of my oldest whips, and so I really want to get it out of my rotation before I get like really bored of it and UFO it. So I'm about 50% done at the moment, so I really just gotta try to just focus and get it out. So that one. And then my fourth one I want to get done is my Secret Grove Sal by NeedleLotDesigns. I just really love NeedleLotDesigns. I find her stitching, her patterns are so easy to stitch. There's like never any confetti stitch, but it's still really detailed. So yeah, I just want to be able to say I've got a Sal done. Because yeah, I went off of my Frosty Fox Shop Sal. And then the fifth one I want to finish this year is the Stitcher's Grimoire by Witchy Stitcher. She's always great. Her patterns are great. And it's one of my whips that I do have the closest to being finished. And it's just nice. I like having like a dark gothy piece for those days I'm kind of feeling moody. So those are my 5 pieces I really want to have finished by the end of the year. The rest of my whips, so like I'm going to get them when I go through Whip Go, which I'll talk about shortly. And then so I'll have 2 Whip Go pieces, and then I'll pick like maybe 2 or 3 other pieces. So 1 or 2 of my ones I want to FFO, and then maybe 1 or 2 of my other whips, either by which ones I feel like or by a wheel or something to have in the rotation for the month. So I'm still gonna leave it to how I feel. So next, Whip Go. So I'll post a picture of my Whip Go board. But I'm, of course, going to be doing Whip Go again. I really enjoyed it last year. And this year, I've got so many new starts that I literally don't have to double up or make up other goals. I can have 1 whip per block. So, yeah, that's why it's the year of 25 whips. So if I end up finishing a whip before it gets called on the board, then I'll just use like a random wheel picker to pick a new whip or something to focus on, or I'll just pop in one of my goal pieces. I was gonna do like a new start, but I'm like, wait, no, I need to cut down on my whips. There's too many. So I'll see what I feel like in that moment when that time comes. So 13, I guess technically it's 24 reps, and 13 is going to be a new start. And I've already bought the pattern. I couldn't help myself. It was on sale, okay? I haven't kitted it up yet, or I feel like I'm going to want to start it. But it's only 2 colors, which one of them is black, so I'm not worried about like not having all the colors on hand, so that'll be easy peasy. So my last year whip goal, like my whip goal was to do 5 days on each piece. I'm not doing that this year. So instead, I've assigned 2 days a week, Monday and Wednesday, as my whip go days that I just work on those whips. So just because the way the days of the month fall, some months like it might get 4 days or 5 days or 3, whatever. And I'm going to call that a win. And it's like I can always work on other days too if I want to. But, yeah, so I mean, the goal is to just work on it for a few days and get some progress on all of my whips at some point throughout the year. Because I want to be able to touch at least them once every year. So yeah, a little bit more about that is, so last year I was starting to use a schedule. So my last year's schedule was, it was like whip go one day, the second day was free choice, and then it was whip go 2, and then free choice, and then it was like a focus piece, and then the next day would have been free choice, and then it would just rotate. So then the same piece wouldn't fall on the same day every month, and I was just kind of a bit of a pain. So this year, like, my schedule is going to be Monday and Wednesday is going to be whip go, and then Friday is going to be a focus piece, because I tend to not be too busy weeknights or school nights, just because it's just work. And then the rest of the days, or like if I'm busy on the weekend or something, I don't have to worry about like having to make up a day. So yeah, that's what my schedule this year is going to be. Plus I have a hard time remembering what day of the week it is. So I'd always have to be like, look at my phone, what's the date today? And then look on my calendar, okay, that's the one I have to work on. So now I know Monday, Wednesday, Friday is an assigned piece day. The rest is whatever I feel like. Okay, so, and then, yeah, so technically every week I'll have 3 pieces plus 2, maybe 3 other ones to work on my random days, depending on what I want to do that month, and just how busy I am. So, this year I am going to try to just keep a better track of all my stats. Now I'm usually really like techie. I always have my phone in my hand. I love my apps. I love using OneNote to keep track of my notes and stuff, but for whatever reason, keeping track of my cross stitching is just not something I have the inclination to do online. I really wish Pattern Keeper was a bit more like markup where it would keep track of your stats, but it doesn't, so I'm going to do it manually. So I made this notebook. And I kind of sorted it by oldest to newest, but I basically put in each one to have the title, the artist, a picture, and then like my start date, and then end date, my fabric, how I'm stitching it, how many stitches total, and then I'll just keep track of the date, how many stitches I worked on that day, and then the percentage it is at. So I did that for all my whips. Like I said, somewhat in order of oldest to newest, but I really didn't care too much about doing that accurately. So I kept that track of that. And so far, I have been keeping track every day of like when I stitch and how much I stitch. For the most part, some I can't keep track because there's a couple patterns I have that are only in Adobe and it doesn't keep track of stitches. So I'm just going to try to keep track of like how many threads I've done. So that is my new notebook. So let's see. So yeah, so every month I can keep you updated on that. So then my other few whips that aren't into like my regular rotation at nighttime, they have a separate purpose kind of thing. So first, like my travel whip, it's usually always in my purse at all times. I also am not keeping track of it really in here because I'm really only like working on it 10-15 minutes at a time. I'm not worrying about it keeping track of how often I'm stitching on it. So and the pieces are so small, so it's just not worth it. But I have, when the Spellbound bookmark set came out, last minute before it went out, I bought the whole thing. So I've decided I'm going to do every single one of those bookmarks, but they're going to be my travel whip. So it will take some time to, you know, get each piece finished because I'm only, like I say, working on it 10-15 minutes at a time on my work break, or the occasional time I'm out for an hour traveling doing something else. So I think that those are going to be really fun to kind of have all of those done by whenever they get done. My temperature stitches, I usually just do that one during the day, like after work or when I work from home during a break or something. And it's not too hard to keep track of that, or like keep up to date on that one, so long as I don't keep putting it off like I have last year's. And then I'm also going to do a book tracker, and that'll just won't be like, it'll be regular rotation, but not something I work on regularly. So I really just need to finish like the outline, so I'm going to do the bookcase. So I got to do that, but then it'll just be a book here and there as I finish. And since I only really read audiobooks, they kind of take me a couple weeks to finish. So I might have like a dozen stitches to do every couple of weeks, so it won't be too bad. Let's see. So, and then I also don't plan on starting any other new whips or any like mystery salves, but I don't promise, because I'm not gonna hold myself to that. Because you're more likely to fail if you make that promise, right? There's just so much awesome stuff that comes out. So like if Witchy Stitcher put out another piece from her, like that fairy tale, like the Red Riding Hood piece, I mean, I'm gonna buy that. And just things like that. So for YouTube, I really want to try to stick to posting a Flosstube at the end of each month, and then with like the occasional Flosstube extra halfway through each month. But no promises on that one. I'm just still really trying to find my groove and how I like to record, and just finding time and things. And it'll just take some time to get consistent, I think. Yeah, and I think that's it for plans for this year. As the year goes on, things might change. It is what it is. So that's my year plan. So let's just get a little talking about this month's plans. So Whip Go pick is number 11, which is Red Riding Hood, and number 20, which is my I'm This Old piece. And I'm also going to be working on the Make It Murder Cell and Secret Grove, and I think Books Are Magic. And I don't know yet because I'm going on vacation for 2 weeks, so I want some small pieces to take with me, but also like not super important pieces, just in case they, like my suitcase, get lost or something. I'm a little paranoid, so yeah, we'll see what pieces I'm going to take last minute, of course. So yeah, and then I'm going to try to keep up with my temperature cell and try to get last year's temperature cell completed as soon as possible. But yeah, it's going to be a bit of a tight month, I think. So that's everything for this Flosstube. Yay! I hope that wasn't too long. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment. What are your plans this year? Yeah, and I hope you all reach your stitchy goals this year, and happy stitching. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye!